So I wanted to show you how to create some complex, smooth, curved shapes in Fusion. It's actually fairly easy to do when you figure it out. So here is your starting point. What you're going to do is come over to this tool, the Create Form tool, and click it. And now you're in Sculpt mode. The first thing you want to do is kind of create one of these primitive shapes. Let's start off with a box. And just like with a sketch, it's going to ask you to select a plane. I'll just select this guy and click it, and it'll ask you to do the bottom of this, the kind of blob of clay, I guess. So we can kind of start off with a general shape, and we'll go from there. So I think what I would like to do is try to create a leaf to start off, and I'll create a few different things so you can see some methods. Pretty much the tool you're going to use the whole time is the modify or edit form. And so when I click this, I can select any face. I can select the vertices, or I can select a edge, and if I select it, it gives me this dialog box, or whatever this kind of tool tip here. So I can take that and then just pull part up. I can also kind of twist it, although that doesn't really do much. I don't know what else I can do. I guess I can kind of just free form move it around and kind of mess with this sort of blob of clay. So I'll create this sort of dip. Let me grab the end here and pull it out. Just making it look kind of like a petal, maybe for a flower. This one does take a fair amount of computational power. So you may just need to be patient and take your time. So yeah, we can just kind of move things around like that. Another thing you can do is, let me just back up all the way. This is kind of a nice feature. You can use symmetry. That way, especially for something like a leaf, right? You want it to be somewhat symmetrical. Most nature things aren't exactly symmetrical, but we can pretend. So I'll use this mirror, and I'm not too sure. I think maybe I'll select the face, and then it says select the mirror side. Okay, so now I just created this little green line, and that's the mirror. Okay, so now let's modify and see what happens. So if I take this and pull it out, yeah, it does whatever I do on that side. It's going to do on the other side. I don't know what it does, but if you, so yeah, if you do this is fine. No idea what I'm doing. I have a lot of things selected here, so I'm going to select that. Flatten it out. Flatten it. So this is starting to look a little bit like some kind of petal, leaf petal. And what I would like to do is kind of bend it, maybe. Let's see if this will work. So if I take this guy and kind of twist it up, and kind of bend it up. You can imagine playing with it and making it look like a nice petal. Let me show you some other one. So for those of you wanting to make like a lampshade or something, let's do a sphere. So we'll start off with a sphere and do the same thing. Select the middle point and make it a little bit bigger. So right now I have 16 longitude faces and then 8 going this way, so I can change these however I want. If I wanted really fine grained, I can do that. I'm going to do a circular symmetry, and if you just select any of these faces, it'll tell you, well, here's how many different ways you can divide up 16 faces. You can divide them into 16, you can divide them into 8 pieces, or 4 or 2. Let's do 8. Okay, so now any of these that I play with should mirror across all of these. So let me first kind of create the pinch pot. I'll push this piece down and make like a little hole. That's very nice. And now I'm going to take these guys and then pull it out and create this sort of crazy looking lampshade. I wonder if I can haul it out a little bit more. So I'm going to, let's see here, grab this one, push it that way. I just want to make it skinnier. You can go with this one too. Oh, it's starting to kind of rip at the bottom. Yeah, there's sort of a crazy looking hole that I made. I think that's going to be a problem later on. It won't convert totally over, so I'm going to see if I can fix that. So I know that's going to be a problem. Let me see if I can back out of it. Hit it undo. Okay. Well, that's fine. It looks like a tulip, doesn't it? Alright. So when I finish this, it'll tell me if it's sometimes you'll have like weird creases in it or holes, and it will say, hey, we can't convert it to a solid. And this one's taking a long time, so I probably did something. No, it looks like it worked fine. So this, if you can get out of the form menu and you're back in just the model menu, then this guy is going to be a valid solid, and we can do whatever we want with it. Maybe if we turn it upside down, it looks like a ghost or something like that. So we can, for example, we can create a sketch and say we want to create some kind of like creepy face in it. Let's create a couple eyes, like something from Harry Potter or something like that. So I have these profiles, and I can extrude these guys. Okay, so I have both of those, and if I pull it through, you'll see it turns red, and it's already saying, well, okay, it's interpreting and saying, well, okay, you're not going to create the body out of these extrusions, it's going to be a cut. In fact, you can change your operation there. So I can make it a join, and it will kind of create these pieces that stick out of its eyes. But I do want to cut those out. I'll press OK, and then now I've got some holes there. And that's how you would use form, create form. And I think that's probably about enough. You will know enough to create some really cool shapes and work with them. But the good part is you can take in this solid and you can resize it or do whatever you need, and then add some dimensionally accurate cuts, or position it in some way where you can put pieces into it, or screws, or mount your microcontroller inside of it, create little pockets for different pieces inside of this sort of intricate shape. And there's a lot of other things you can do with this, obviously. So take a look at the help desk, look at the tutorials, and learn quite a bit of really neat, useful things. You just have to take your time and spend some time in it. It's really worth it to have a good model.